there.
There we go then, the words from Rallan of Kinguin. Plenty to think about in there as we head towards our third and final map in this one. They've still got a chance, Duncan, to get through this.
They do, but I think the problem for them is they're coming into Cobblestone now, and I actually think Cobblestone is one of the best EnVyUs maps. Like, it's been a map that they've been very much improved upon. This is one that's on land. They can go head-to-head with those big level teams, you know, the G2s of the world that are also very good on the map. So I feel like if you're the EnVyUs guys, the first map's a million miles back now. You got through the one that was, in theory, the almost impossible one, Overpass, the one you don't play very often. Now you're back on your home ground. They're on a map that's not that good for them. I feel like it's really, the momentum's really on their side now. And it should be EnVyUs taking care of what wasn't a very good series, admittedly.
Yeah, I think that the Kinguin guys, that was their map. They should have taken map number 2 there. So many clutches slipped away. It's going to be frustrating for them. I've cast them a few times in Cobble. They have got a bit of an ace up their sleeve on their CT side. I think they're one of the few teams actually are very good at actually finding CT aggression on the upper platform. They've got these crazy set smokes they do from the CT spawn, the land, and the T entrance of the upper platform. They're very good at capitalizing on those and getting those first picks. If EnVyUs, I'm sure they've watched the demos, obviously got the analysts and coaches working with them. So I'm sure they'll be kind of aware that's a possibility, but that's the one thing we've always seen from the Kinguin CT side. I think it's going to be a good map. I do agree with Duncan. I think EnVyUs have got the upper hand now. But if Mihu can turn up for this, he's on the screen right now. He was missing the last map. He is the star player. And if everyone else can perform like they have been, it will be a very good game. Could go either way. Comes down to the pistols again, I think. And this I shouldn't be saying that. EnVyUs should be stomping this series out. It should be 2-0. But still, it's entertaining CS. We had some dramatic moments and hopefully get a few more clutches and mad things going down. Who knows?
I haven't spoken about him yet. We spoke about him a little bit in the background, but there is a man in the background of Kinguin that could help them in this situation, a man who's been there, seen it, done it all with the Golden Five.
Yeah, that's right.
He's Lord, and the steadying hand behind the ship, perhaps?
Yeah, the only thing is, as a player, he was someone who was very good at press, very calm play, like famously the prototypical support player, before we really had that term. The only problem is, as a personality within that team, he's one of the fiery guys, actually. And he was the guy who was very quick to argue and say who did what. So I wonder how that's developed in the coaching role, because while that is the traditional view of a coach, like the general, I think especially in the modern day of CSGO players, a lot of these guys are young and experienced. I think you need the steadying hand more. You need the guy who picks you up a little bit. He seems like he's smiling there. He's not too angry, even though they did throw that map away.
Yeah, and maybe you can give them some inspiration as they head into this next game. Thank you very much, gents. We'll hear more, of course, from Henry and from Duncan at the end of this one, regardless of how it happens, because at the end of this, one team's going home and one is going through to the lower bracket final. Let's find out which as we head back to our commentary team.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, we do go back into map number 3. I think a lot of people would have expected if we had a third map, it wouldn't include EnVyUs in this series in particular, but here we are, alas. And I think they deserve to be here, to be completely honest, in the way that they've played it. Henry pointed out, still not happy, even though they won on Overpass. They've won each other's maps, by the way.
Yeah, and that's kind of the interesting thing, really, when you look at it, is they were both meant to be very good maps for the teams that picked them. It's gone the other way of the opposition both times. Now, on Overpass, I feel like Envy did good. They definitely stepped up, at least from their performance on Nuke, which maybe not doing good is the word, but they did near of what we're expecting. I feel like they still have a long way to go before they hit, back at where we've seen them lately. My issue being there is that Kinguin, they did fall fairly silent as well. I mean, even the fact that XMS, don't get me wrong, it was an amazing display of marksmanship and all the clutches he was able to get, but the fact that he was able to get so many, immediately kind of raises some red flags almost. Kinguin did struggle, needless to say, within that second half, as we saw. It was looking like they could have potentially pulled us back. I think heading into Cobble, it's going to be interesting to see at least how this does pan out, because it's a map that's kind of middle ground for both of these teams. Almost Kinguin actually are a team that have opted to play a hell of a lot a while ago, but as of late, they've tried to steer away from it almost. It looks like, which is a weird decision, I think, from them to make. I don't know what changed there necessarily.
Yeah, they've been playing a lot less best of threes as well, given their situation currently. And as you say, you see them in Premier, it's a bit more of a blind veto in that sense. So, yeah, getting back into it in this environment, I don't know what to make of it. I'm still not convinced by Envy's play. It's a lot more limiting in many ways for the CTs to get aggressive, which obviously we saw that they love to do. Now, the one thing they do have, and I'm going to say, if he didn't do it on Cash earlier this morning, Happy defined how to play the drop roll, which has become standard meta and then countered off and recycled and revamped, etc. Meta always goes in a circle. One counters the other, and a new meta comes along, and then the old becomes relevant due to the counter changing. Happy has to be solid in this game. He has to be good on the drop. He has to be assertive. He has to find space when they get on their T side because, like I say, he hasn't been involved enough at all in the play, especially on Nuke in this series as well. Very, very late trying to work in the upper site when they finally got control of Secret in certain rounds. So I'm looking at him. I'm going to point the finger. I'm going to say it. If he's getting a game lead, he's got to be sure that he's setting things up and being part of the plan, involved in it ahead of time, especially now knowing it. If he's thinking he's going to be gifted anything from Kinguin, I think we found out that's sorely mistaken.
Yeah, you know, he's someone I think a lot of us have pulled up on a couple of issues with in a lot of these maps thus far. I do think he's one of the players who does need to step up on the team. And, I mean, you know, we do usually see that IGLs do suffer a little bit in terms of their fragging ability, but a lot of it's been kind of weird decision-making.
I'm not buying into that anymore. There are some that, they are strictly masterminds and they're not fraggers. I mean, Gobby, okay. But there's lots that can also frag. There's definitely a number of them fallen, right? There you go. So I'm not fully going to buy into that philosophy at all.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, the point being, nothing really being an issue with his aim. A lot of the time, it's the decisions he's made as to, you know, where to go aggressive or where to lurk, and a lot of it has been quite counterproductive to the rest of the team.
I mean, Happy's also been someone that can frag and been very successful with it. It's just his style. He's become, I won't say irrelevant, but definitely not adapting to the role that he's put himself in. He's too much too one-dimensional in that sense. We're underway. Scream. Okay. XMS, he wants his claim back. He's got Mihu down, aggressive toward long A and finds the pick. Only one spotted towards Statue, but they are all back outside of middle, and he's going to spot down Danger to see it. He'll walk through, he'll make contact, and back off, calling Sixer and Happy into the picture. Sixer's the first one to try and go aggressive as Happy rotates around, and rotates not only around, but drops into the site to get more aggressive, covering off from the vent. Rollins tried to slip through, but he's found by RPK instead. And Spiro's gone. Only Mao remaining, trying to get Sixer down. He's got a number of good shots toward him, but can't find the final one to put him in his place. Does get Happy in the meantime, but it's RPK that gets the round for Envy.
Yeah, Scream now. I mean, not really having the same finesse actually as XMS did earlier. It was a nice opener, you know, very, very nice crisp one tap to kick that one off, and then it all just went to pot as he went through entire magazines on the rest of the guys. But yeah, the buy coming in from Envy, gonna just be working with these UMPs. Never really a fan of the full UMP buy. I feel like, especially on Cobblestone, it's good to have at least one rifle. I would always kind of say two, one split between each of the sites, just because of the long angles on this map and the fact that the UMP nerf has actually been very effective at kind of utilizing how useful it is at range.
Not if they're gonna play this aggressive though. Sixer already out to long corner. Scream in mid. One issue that it could create for the range sake is for a retake and rotation at this point in time, but I tend to agree with you. I'd like to see a rifle brought out on Cobblestone. Good dink. Damage done to Scream. He's got to back away already. Doesn't really get much for that confrontation either. Information, but what good is that with a minute and 16 when they're still on the T side of the map as they rotate back over toward B? It's XMS that's next in line to make contact. This is a longer angle. So flash in, Happy tagged as well at drop. RPK's got to bail him out, manages to come back through, and then thankfully together, they'll control the situation. XMS will do the same at long, and everyone stays alive despite the amount of damage they took pretty much early on in each and every fight that they were involved in.
Yeah, I mean, they were very lucky there to keep so many players alive, really. I mean, you saw Scream getting down extreme early on, Happy as well. A lot of it, once again, coming from these sort of info peaks or regression that comes out from Envy on their CT sides. I mean, you saw then that they were trying to boost up over towards drop down, and it didn't exactly pan out. Happy almost died as a result, but lucky enough he did have RPK there to pick up the slack. They do manage to pick up that second round. Don't lose anyone in the process, even though it looked like it was going to be a very costly round. And now Kinguin, with just their Glocks out. Mihu actually going to have the PT-50, but everyone else on the vanilla pistol buy not going to be looking too great in this one. Should just be a chance. Oh, okay, Happy. Should just be a chance for Envy to make some money, as Happy seems to be taking in his stride. He's boosted on up and shows no sign of getting down just yet.
Yeah, he's going to stay there even though they know he's there. It's pretty obvious he's in the corner, so they try and run around and get him down. He's run out of ammo, and that has to be a kill from Rollin. Surely, as he picks up the SMG. RPK was down below to make sure they didn't flood over the drop when Happy did perish. The next game in line with Rollin, who drops the gun at the top of drop again. So Mao's just going to go grab that. Good luck with it. And he's gone, so they won't even save that over, but we will have guns for Kinguin No bomb plants out of the first 3 rounds. Glass cannon for Rollin. Tell me they're not thinking about that early on T-side. Thank you. Thank you. I'm all right with that decision, Rollin. That would have been quite a gamble for a T-side early. Especially when they know there was SMGs up. You can get close. You don't have armor. They could tear you apart. The 2 guns that go down, they obviously reinvest to grab rifles, which is not the worst case in the world that they did fall in that sense. They go for essentially the bonus. Look at the money for RPK as well. 7,500 already. 6 cert, 4350. Doesn't quite have the AWP, but he will in the next round. XMS gets aggressive and finds Hyper. He's going to back it off. Rollin is limited, but has the AK and wants to find the single bullet required to take down XMS at Long B. Deeper and deeper the smokes go.
Yeah, now turning their attention over toward mid. Kinguin, 3 players here, smoked off and held back for the time being, but still with a minute and 5 seconds left. Not going to be too much of an issue. Actually, 16 to get flashed on through. Does find one on the back of it. Sparrow going to be there to trade things out. Scream now taking up position over in mid. Mihu over at long. Bomb actually looking like it's thinking about rotating back to join Rollin over here at B. The only thing is they've got Scream who's up close and should be able to spot out this rotate if it comes through. Not going to be peeking the angle, so they will be able to rotate all 3 players over here towards B. Only thing is Scream being so far forward, he'll be hot on their heels as they do make their way on in. And as he doesn't hear any footsteps, I imagine we're going to see the rotate come in from Happy off from the A site, rejoin XMS over here towards B, and actually somehow converts that into a frag despite being 19 HP, still fending for his own, and they're going to run right by him. He blends in with the wall. And
as if this is happening. Utility, XMS 19 gets another kill out of this. He's up to 3 now. XMS is some sort of chameleon or has some sort of mind control because that Molotov, first off, Rollin throws it, doesn't wait long enough, and completely overlooks the position by which he was clearing with said Molotov. And it's so simple. Hold up for a half second, throw the Molotov, cover the angle. Okay, he's not there, definitely. Then move in, gives XMS a free kill, and then somehow the flash covers both of them, and he's, like you say, blended in with the wall. It's a chameleon, right? Blends in. That's
yeah, no,
nice,
it is
nice.
the chameleon.
Got it.
Your knowledge of
animals,
lizards. Yeah, I was going to say reptiles, but animals as a whole, I suppose, if you want to.
The only reptile I'm really familiar with is the frog. We had him here last week, but he's gone now. XMS burns Mihu. I know you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's fine. Just play along.
Okay,
He's
I'm just going
happy.
to nod.
Gets 1, but goes out Tech 9s, still trying to make do. They found reasonable kills, but unfortunately they don't get a bomb plant down, and Hyper, who was trying to cut off rotations, couldn't do so. They'd faded inside of the smoke, and that's a trifecta of doom on the minimap, as you would say, Harry.
Yeah, and as he finds himself pincered on in, he's actually going to turn his attention out towards A. Could potentially isolate this 1 kill onto Sixer. Doesn't have anyone here to help him out, so that would be a rifle gained if he finds it, but that's a big if, and Sixer, not a gambling man, going to go ahead and shut down Hyper. That will be Envy with the 5-0 lead. Bai going to come in once again from Kinguin. Hyper yet to frag. Currently 0-5. To their detriment. Sparrow going to be up on the AWP. They do have that to play around with at least. Envy still keeping some of these UMPs just carried forward from the from that second round. Still in play, the UMP for Sixer. Rifles finally brought up now for the rest of the team as they start to catch up. And Kinguin still yet to really find any sort of opportunity that they could potentially turn successful. They haven't even got their foot in the door, really.
So Molotov's not smoke toward B long. XMS wants to play with that, but the smokes go down late. Thankfully, look at the push as well. I said Envy might not have a chance to get as aggressive. Well, might eat my proverbial hat. Proverbial. Henry's has to eat his real hat still. The Twitter fans have told him that. He didn't include the word proverbial, and everyone thought he was serious. Silly mistake, Henry. Rookie move. Nade's going to go in. Boost goes up. So with the smokes down, question is, did they check this? Fairly common on the way through, but it's a close position. Meanwhile, Happy and Scream. 1 each at drop and long. I've held the position, and there you go. Mouse doesn't check it, so they get the late boost. It works out. Rollin's made good position. Oh, he was so smart to go the way he was going. Instead, he goes back at RPK, who would have been back exposed, gets the kill.
And it all falls on Sparrow, the character we've yet to unlock, as we can see is just outline dancing around there in the 1v5, trying to hold him to the AWP. And Envy, they don't want to let him have that satisfaction. They don't want to let him carry that through into the next round, so they will be going hunting. Boosting a player up. It's going to be Happy. Sparrow, doesn't even need the scope. Going to go ahead and take down the first. Has to watch out because Six is hot on his heels coming in from behind. You've also got the even lengthier flank out from Scream. But okay, Sparrow with the second no-scope. We've seen all headshots. Could we now see all no-scopes as Sparrow charging it towards the B site? No, not enough time left.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's a bit optimistic at that point. He has a chance to save the op. The money's not great. They could have potentially forced out SMGs around it. He had 9 seconds when he got the second kill and decides to rush the side. I mean, bit optimistic, hoping no one's going to be close by.
The weirder thing about it is he knew a player got boosted up in the form of Happy, right? And he killed a player over at long, but you can't think that that was the same player who boosted the guy moments earlier. So he should have known there was someone else in towards B. As you said, very optimistic there in trying to get that bomb plant. Could have carried the AWP forward into this round, but it wouldn't really net them that much more. I think we, kind of buying up pistols anyway. So the Catalyst AWP could have made a bit of a difference. But it's going to be another round to go the way of Envy. And more importantly, I think the tactical pause is going to be called in now from Kinguin. I think, I'm a fan of this. They've realized, I'd say somewhat early on, that there's a big problem right now for them. And, we see frequently, even as we saw earlier on Nuke, that some teams, when they neglect to take that pause, whether it's out of pride, ignorance, whatever, it punishes them in a big way. And I think teams that do just duck out and take that pause early on are the ones that benefit a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, the new pause rules, I've said it time and time again. If you've got them, use them. There's no need. Like, I don't know. I don't even think it's a pride thing. I think most teams actually prefer. I think it's more stubborn than pride. I think it's just silliness, and then people either not remembering to take advantage of it, having the habit of not doing it. They just don't think it's necessary. But yeah, I'd say use them. Even when you're in the lead, there's times to use them in the current setup. Happy gets aggressive. Mihu goes down. Spiro's made his way in through drop, though, but a smoke in front of him is going to limit his angle of approach toward the connector and gives Happy a free shot in the back as he tries to push back through. Hyper. Tech9. Tech9! Whoa, I thought he was going to get both as Happy sat in front of the crosshairs. Rollin left on 8, which is 1 less rounds that Envy will now have when this one finishes. If this one finishes, Rollin on the 8 HP. Takes down Scream and Sixer. It's just Happy remaining, and he's got the bomb.
Yeah, Rollin looking to try and duck out fast as he can. Speeding on through, up through connector.
Oh, come on.
He's going to try and play this one smart. And albeit he might have just played himself. Happy. Making his way in very, very slowly up through connector. Going to be watching through double doors. And I think he's aware now at this point that Rollin hasn't crossed. You could see Happy rotate back over towards B.
This is actually... I like his thought process on this because he wanted to make, if Happy was close enough, he wanted to make noise as if he was going to mid.
Yeah.
And then he puts himself in an angle that even if Happy peeks through the doorway, which he did do, he can't see him. So he thinks, he's not here. Does that mean he's not coming? And then the flash off. This is actually quite good from Rollin. He's bought himself so much space by just playing a really quick bait toward the B site. And now he's got the plant down in A. He's going to wait for Happy to walk back in, making a ton of noise. He has to be perfect on his shot. 8 HP. He's lost the angle, though. He's nearly stuck in beside the APC. Happy knows exactly where he is. He's going to go off, but Rollin hears it. What a clutch. Pulling it back. 4 kills in the round, 3 of which come with 8 HP in a 1 versus 3.
And if you ever needed more proof of the caster's curse being a genuine thing, I think there it is, right?
Call me out, Harry. I never said it was done. I never said that they were going to get 7 rounds.
You very, very quickly tried to, get in there. If he doesn't clutch this out, and then he does. And yeah, I mean, Kinguin, they go ahead and pick up their first round. Hopefully the first of many to come as they look to try and make this one more competitive. It was looking like it was all EnVyUs' game up until just now. Rollin stepping up in a big way. And well, for Envy, it's going to be rebuying once again. Six are going to have the AWP in hand. The AWP up for Sparrow. So he turns his attention over towards mid. Bit of a change in focal point here for Kinguin as they do leave Rollin over there at B all on his lonesome. Everyone else now turning their attention instead over towards mid and long. Six going to be posted up here with the AWP, trying to hold this back.
Good shot, Sixer. Has to back himself out, though, because the player at bottom mid is not covering from danger. Good pickup as he gets Mouse as well, thinking he could quickly run him down. Drops the bomb forward as well. Look at the crossfire now. That bomb dropped where it is. Sixer goes, no problem. You have danger? Oh, okay, cool. You watch them if they push me. I'll sit in the corner so they have to cross my crosshair to get to the bomb. and they'll slow the pace completely. And in doing so, buy out time for a third player to rotate over to the A site, given that the AWP is in position. Scream being the man in question who's brought himself into the fold and rotates all the way back through danger. Smoke it off. They can give out the bomb at this point in time. 38 seconds. They bought enough space on the map, enough control, and forced out so much time on the clock that it puts the pressure on Kinguin. So they're fine with giving away the bomb rather than trading outside of the site and giving them a chance back into it. I like that call. We're starting to see Envy make decisions as a team at this point in time. Rollin alone again, though, is going to find an opener onto RPK. Not likely he's going to do much more than that this time. Others are on either side of him. And Scream hears them walking in, knows it, swings in behind it stable. Hyper thinks he can pre-fire him, gets around the corner just in time, which allowed him to get happy, but it's closed the round. 3 seconds to go, and if they get Spiro, and the time's gone as well. Not only does he drop the AWP, he's got $50. That's perfect for EnVyUs.
Yeah, I mean, Spiro with about as much money as they're going to get for this, for competing in the event at the end of this, if they do end up going out right now. It is a 7-1 score. And Envy, they're looking good. The double ops are not going to be in play, though, and that's something that we've, kind of spoke about a little bit in the past. Not really feeling it too much for Envy. Is happy going to be, donning his AWPing shoes as he does get himself the AWP on the CT side. Now, I mean, Cobble is one that you can definitely go for this double AWP on the CT side. I think it's incredibly viable, and it's just a fantastic play to be making. So, I mean, he has been hitting his shots. I think now it is kind of justified, right? They've got a nice round buffer to work with. If it doesn't work, they can just count it as a bit of a failed experiment. So what? I mean, King would get themselves a second round, but it's not the end of the world. And now's really their chance to see if this is a strategy they can make work. In the meantime, Rowland going to have an AWP of his own as they have Force Sport over here on the T side. They've gone ahead and gone all in. And Rowland's the man to try and open up B for them. Peeking on out. Does find the first on a happy. That secondary AWP.
Watch XMS, though. They're going to go. He's going to wait. He's going to line them up. He's got them all in the sights as RPK. He gets Spiro in the middle of it. And I couldn't quite catch if Spiro was actually looking that direction or not. It's going to keep him in the corner. That Hobbit hole, I tell you. I tells you, boy, that's a good one. It always seems to work for at least one kill. And you have to deploy a secondary Molotov. You almost need 4 Molotovs to cover off every angle, which is never going to happen. You're never going to use 1 for Arch, 1 for Stairs, 1 for Hobbit, 1 for Chicken Coop. So, not going to work every round, but once or twice a half, it's brilliant. Let's see that. Watch the third on the peak. No, they weren't, so they were all looking away from him. Hyper realized it late when they went for the tree boost. 8-1 EnVyUs. They're definitely controlling this game. Much better performance from them.
Just then when you got on the side, you kind of sounded a lot like a pirate, and that terrified me.
Did it?
Yeah, I mean, I just figured it's something that we should address, but yeah.
I mean, I do have a lot of diseases, eat raw meat, and travel the seas stealing other people's income. So it's fine. I am pretty much a pirate.
Yeah, no, you are. You're virtually there. I mean, the transition, seamless. And speaking of seamless transition, Scream over him. They're going to go out and get himself 3. Just takes the aggression.
When did you learn to spray, Scream? Those aren't taps.
Didn't you hear XMS is the new
It's true, he's given up. He's gone back to the regular meta. He's like, all right, listen, you've dethroned me. Now I'll prove that I can play like a normal person.
He's an honourable man, and he's stepping up to this in the right way. And Kinguin, they've got to buy up once again. You're going to see rifles across the board. Nice bit of utility to go alongside it. Issue is 1 solitary round right now on their T side.
Yeah, pretty lackluster when you consider that, typically speaking, especially in the upper echelons, this is a T-sided map. It requires so much utility for the CTs to hold with. So cross smokes toward A. Faster play this time. Sixer's already going to back off from long. They'll play deep inside of the site. Sixer gets his vision back, and they're standing right in front of him as they walk in from lower mid. Finds the opener. Scream as well, going to elevate himself in the site. Nope, not quite. He's not going to play on top of the hut. He wants to play the angle instead as RPK comes in from the door, drops the bomb down inside of the wall. Rollin has slipped in behind the smoke. If he finds Scream early, he could potentially get both, but Sixer's going to check it, then they'll just walk out. Scream's got control of it. 10-1. This map looking as we expected, finally, I have to say.
I feel like maybe EnVy were just doing all this for show now, because we're finally seeing them back in good form, in the form I think we expected them to be in throughout this whole ordeal. In map 3, of when they could have potentially been eliminated from the whole thing, Kinguin, they're going to be on the back foot. They are struggling, to say the least. I mean, that's putting it nicely. Currently 9 rounds behind. They've got very little to invest up into this one. They are going to be getting that loss bonus, so we could see them invest just a little bit, get some pistols up. Even then, though, I mean, what are those pistols even going to do? I mean, we struggled to see them make it work with rifles. So, Ralden being the only player who's actually pulling his weight.
Yeah, EnVyUs going quiet again. Not his best tournament. So Tech9's Kinguin. Fast toward the B hallway. Whether or not they go fast toward the B site, yet to be determined. Then boost on tree as well for none other than the Happy. Man, I don't know where I was going with that one. We'll just leave that there. Let it sink in as Happy gets aggressive. Finds Mihu. RPK backing off from near tree is going to watch to make sure they don't push through. Sixer position in the vent as they start to head his direction. Lost RPK. It's opened up the A site, though, quite quickly because Sixer couldn't find the opening shot. It's back to a 3 versus 3. Scream and Happy are already well within the site, but good shot from Spiro to check top middle. Down goes Scream and Hyper. He's going to try and watch off to cover the position for Rallen as he goes for the plant. And they could actually still pull this off despite looking quite sloppy in the entry to be and more sloppy. Hyper gets caught in the open, pulling out the M4. Happy's got the quick shot. Better timing from XMS. Spiro's in the middle of nowhere, so easy trade even if he found the opening pick. And now we go 11-1. Very, very poor from King. Good call to try and adapt to try and run back over, but they're just not getting entries anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that round was looking quite good for them, in all honesty. When they made the decision to go A and then they catch off Sixer, kind of stuck in between the vents, he has to try and force the issue up to make his way on through. Sadly, I mean, once they find him, they suspect that there's going to be another player over towards long, and that's because that is kind of the default we've seen EnVyUs opt to have. And there just wasn't, and that allowed Scream to barrel on through double doors, get into the site, shut down the players that they tried to cross, and bought plenty of time for those rotates to come in from B, and that's ultimately how we saw XMS work his way up through long and actually come in with the backstab there. The buy going to be coming in there from Kinguin this time. They've got the AWP up on Spiro. You can see that EnVy, they're going to be playing their standard default with Sixer over towards long, AWP in hand. Scream watching mid, and they're going to very preemptively opt to rotate him off, rejoining the rest of the guys in over here towards B.
Kinguin's depth, or lack thereof rather, is showing on this map specifically, setting up for defaults this time, and at least with the consciousness that they've been very aggressive on the EnVyUs side. So they're playing passive toward the statue on T. But they're not... I have to give Rallen a chance here. I was going to say, they're not being assertive enough to get map control and get themselves into key positions that then they can use to execute. It seems either they get into a map control situation, but they lose trades on the way through, or they just go haphazardly toward a site and throw everything at it in almost a desperation play. This time, Rallen gets down there again, though. Gets into drop. He's very limited. They know he's in there. They lock him out, and there's no one playing off of that. They're trying to sell him so that they can work toward the A site, but look at the timing. It's well removed. Sixer missing a shot, gives them a bit of a chance, but flashed in. RPK walks through, and again, no real execution plan from Kinguin once they arrive toward A, but hold my tongue because they're finally opening up some picks, which evidently is not enough on its own with 21 seconds, and Mihu at least in a position where they have no idea he's there, but now they certainly will, and they cut him off.
I mean, it's just utter domination right now from EnVyUs, 12-1 in their favor. Buy able to come in once again from Kinguin, who at this point, they can at least take solace in the fact that they can force buy between now and the end of the game because of that loss bonus. But when you're 12-1 down, that isn't really the outlook you want to be having. They have got pretty much everything they would need in terms of utility. The AWP going to be up for Sixer as well on the side of EnVy. They need to try and figure something out. I mean, that round, as you said, they send Rallen over towards drop. They try and get him in there just to kind of make that power play and prevent the rotates. The issue is with no one there to trade, with no one there to assist him in any way, it's very easy for EnVy just to go ahead and snuff him out. And this time, looks to be similar. Rallen going to be making his way over towards drop, falls at the first hurdle, Happy boosted up, shuts him down, opens this round up with the man advantage for EnVy. And well, you can see Hyper, he's looking at the the now desecrated corpse of his comrade, desperately trying to scavenge the rifle. Can't quite find it. Does manage to get it at least. So they do manage to grab another rifle to work with. But it just feels like they're kind of clutching at straws. Everything being...
Whoa, your mic's done that thing it did. I think I broke it last week. Don't tell PGL. They don't need to know. You got it's the connectors over here.
That was terrifying. I thought I was being... I don't know, slipped into another... You mentioned earlier that you thought Henry drugged you. I thought maybe he did the same to me.
Henry is a weird person. I'm enjoying my time apart from him, so let's not talk about him too much. My stress levels have gone down. Spiro actually gets XMS, but watch this. Oh, you doubled up this position? Oh, we didn't consider that. Free kills, bomb down. Over the wall as well. I mean, he was going to go back over and at least... I thought he was going to at least win that duel, but Happy's going to spray him off. So 13-1. As they double up a position that, even though they lost the exchange, it favors them on the kills. Hyper's got 2 kills. Mihu has 3. 5 for Maus, 7 for Spiro. Take what you like. It's pretty...
Look at Roland, though. Our boy on the auto shotgun.
Alligator. It looks a bit like an alligator when you look at in the HUD. I see the little mouth.
Okay, yeah, no, I see that. Yeah, no, that's
got, like,
not that bad.
The ears sticking up. Yeah, Chad came up with that. I'm not that clever.
Oh, okay. I thought you were using your knowledge of animals again, but
don't know. Are they reptiles as well? Everything's a reptile, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is how that works. And, well, XMS is going to be holding the close angle. RPK able to find the first Roland will go down. No equalizer or trade found as Mouse has actually been allowed to sneak on by out towards Plat. Now pouncing. XMS going to be chipped away. Scream over to find one elsewhere over in mid, but the trades do come through from Kinguin this time. Into the 2-on-3. Mouse just dodging bullets left and right. Happy looking to try and wish him the sweet goodnight as he finds himself in the 1v3. Out towards Plat. Doesn't have control of the bomb. It's going to be dropped miles away with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Does have time to get it, but first he has to deal with the players on the site, and Happy and RPK both peek out.
I mean, if we're going to be fair, you know, we picked hard on Envy. We've been really easy on Kinguin. That was an abysmal half. Yeah. They had no plan of attack in any situation. No control of the economy. Even when they wanted to try and go for picks, they sat back and did it individually then walked into essentially map control. They gave up to the CTs, weren't using utility to clear various spots toward B. I think, let me see, we got, do you want to know how many we got? We got 1 bomb plant that whole half, and it was on an adaptation call to try and go over toward A. So, there you go. Although, actually, okay, so we got 1 bomb plant that was defused. I think we had a bomb plant on the round they wanted. Yeah, we did, because that was the Rollin. That's the other thing. The only round that they won was Rollin with 8 HP in a 1 versus 3.
I wondered when you'd pick up on that. Yeah, I mean,
I guess I was just ignoring the fact because I was hoping it wasn't as bad as I thought. But yeah,
hoping
that
you'd
really
wake up from the nightmare someday.
That's 8 HP from being a 15-0. Dear Lord.
Yeah, I mean, Kinguin taking a leaf out of VP's strat book as they just throw this one away. Ouch. It is going to be...
Glad you said it. Glad you said it.
Envy make their way out through mid. Now going to double on back. Happy actually go down very early on as Mouse decapitates him over in drop. His teammates now not too keen on joining him beyond the grave. But Rollin holding off platform. Going to be forced back by that flash, but nope. Peeking on out, finds one. Scream going to go down as he gets tapped away. Rollin still holding this down, and they haven't been able to deal with him just yet. XMS able to pick up 2. Rollin still causing some problems for these guys, though, within this site. Completely denying that bomb making its way in. XMS going to fall on the flank, and now it's just 6 at 1v3. Does have the bomb. Tried to fake out that he was going to double back, and they do hear him rotating off. Means they're going to keep Mihu pushed up aggressively. Only thing is, with where Mihu is, they don't have to rotate these players off B. This fake won't work because he's so far forward. The only way that this could possibly work right now for Sixer is if he doubles in towards the A-bomb site. But he thinks he's sold the fake. He spots out the player over towards Coop. P2K should win this duel anyway. It's going to be chipped away at.
Smart to back off after the exchange because he knew he'd be re-peaked from Rock. But they still know he's limited to drop. He's alone. There's no way he can get out of the situation, so they just watch all facets of the approach. Hey, they got round 2. Neat.
Yeah, and you know, this is where we could see the comeback come into fruition for Kinguin. They've only got to go ahead and get another 12 to tie things up with Envy. 13 if they want to carry us through.
Things have happened.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, especially seeing as Envy, they were in very bad form earlier on today. Let's not pretend for a moment like they weren't. So, who knows? I mean, Kinguin could still try and find a way back into this one. While it's not looking likely, they could definitely make it work. And early on for EnVyUs, it's going to be 4 players just barreling over towards long. Mihu and Sparrow both here. Going to be holding their ground. The utility raining on in early on to try and keep these guys at bay. Sparrow with the UMP. Very dedicated to this angle. It's going to go down. No trade to come through just yet from Mihu, but then it does. Suddenly he takes 2. The trade does come instantaneously from Scream, though, and Happy B hopping up through mid. Didn't know he had moves like that, and Mao's going to execute him for it. But actually, decent damage done here from EnVy. The M4 going to be picked up for Scream. Bomb dropped out in the open. Both players rotated on round, and Scream just being tagged away. Switches out to the Deeg.
He hits one of the shots. It's a horrible situation. They do get 3 players down, so not the worst situation. Carry the M4 over in the hands of Rollin. They'll bring in an additional M4 for both Hyper and Mihu, so they're buying in early, as they should do, getting ready for the gun round when it arrives. And EnVy, no need to get over eager with their purchases. As you say, it would take 12 rounds. We're now down to 11. Should we just count? Do we think it's going to happen?
I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath. You never know, right? EnVy did not have the best answer today, and a lot of it has been falling short on their T side. This round is one that Kinguin should be picking up, no question. It's the round after EnVy attempted to force. This one should be going the way of Kinguin. They should just be able to farm up some money with these UMPs falling in towards drop, and well, the body's going to be hitting the floor.
Would you let them hit the floor?
I would.
Okay, just wondering.
And, you know, it smells over here all long just to mop this one up. It is going to be the... I was going to say they would have been able to keep all 5 players alive, but no. Happy looks to prove us wrong. It will be 14-4. Kinguin trying to mount the comeback of dreams as EnVy now have enough cash to be buying down. Everyone with rifles across the board. Nice bit of utility up behind them as well. Orp going to be purchased for Sparrow.
Yeah, you can see how aggressive they're getting. That was dropped over, by the way, from Rollin. So they're not resting on anything. They do keep the 1 SMG, fair enough, for Maus. 1 SMG is not terrible. Especially when you have an AWP up and you've got good utility, 3 kits, everything else is fine. Smoke off, Rollin's already out toward B, so they are early to the utility on the T side. Or rather the CT side, excuse me, but baiting that out. EnVyUs, I imagine, are going to slow this down. Flash in Mihu. Gets 2. Bomb as well. Very well done. Does it on his own. How assertive is that? He's got a 3rd, but finally, he'll be found out from Happy. That's perfect. Especially doing this early. If you're going to play aggressive and try and make this a comeback, set the tone. Don't let EnVyUs get comfortable and start to control the pace themselves. So very, very well done from Mihu. About time, I have to say. I think that's only his 5th kill. Okay, so I actually take that back. He's up now to 11, so he's stepped it on in this second half. Because he was on 3 the last time we checked in, if I'm not mistaken.
And now it falls onto Happy. 1v4 has got the bomb. I think he's still looking to try and carry this one through. 2 players out here over towards A is Sparrow and Hyper.
He watched XMS clutch and he thinks, all right, hang on. I can do this. So far, so good. Takes down Spiro Cannon's not even going to check it. Hyper there. So 5. They just need 9 now. Harry, GG.
Thank you.
Harry, good game.
Yeah, that's why I have it. You know, spread the positivity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I usually say BG or GF. I actually don't say GF. I say it in full, but I can't say it on broadcast.
I just realized what that meant.
Yeah.
I had to work that one out. Now, yeah, I don't say that.
Not girlfriend.
No, I know. I know what it means.
Okay. Sometimes I'll even go for the GGGF.
Okay, now I don't know what that one is.
Well, it's GG, and then, like I say, I go for the full statement. Mihu's gotten a little bit confident, let's say. Going for the same play twice, goes down early, thanks for the gun. RPK has that. They can't afford those kind of mistakes. Especially giving away a gun that's not traded, and RPK's got armor, so too does Happy. Speaking of, Deagle for him over toward drop. He's got an angle, tries to get some shots in toward the window. Not much damage done. 4 damage.
Yeah, I mean, look at Rollin right now, though. Look at how aggressive he's gone all the way up through B long. Going to be coming in from behind. He should be able to snuff out Happy, who currently... Oh, okay, saying that. No, Rollin is going to go hit the deck. Happy with the D. Decapitates the lone Rollin. Suddenly, EnVy, they've claimed themselves a 2-man advantage. Looking to try and make their way out towards A, which is much to their dismay, is currently 2 players here. Lay, Sparrow holding down long with the AWP. Actually going to make the decision to drop out of bounds due to time. It could be worse, but it doesn't matter because Scream Into his crosshair he comes. Hyper now holding the angle. Peeks on out from Cannon. Only gets one. And Sparrow going to fall within the site, leaving this all on Mouse.
Yeah, this is, sorry to cut you off, but this is all has to do with the early aggression that gives away a rifle.
Yeah.
And then Happy getting rolling. I get it, he's pushing up, he wants information, but he just walks through, and we didn't quite see it, so I can't really speak to how it confronted, but loses to the Deagle, and that's it. Round done. This is going to go map point for Envy, and it should not be in this situation at all. I like what Mihu did against rifles. Don't get me wrong. You have to, in that case, take some risks. But you don't need to take unnecessary risks when they're back to pistols.
Yeah, you know, I feel like that's kind of the issue there with Kinguin is they found something that worked in the previous round and they were like, no, let's just a similar strategy elsewhere. And it didn't, especially up against pistols, as you said. I mean, that's the one where EnVy are just going to be battening down the hatches and holding it, you know, passively waiting to see if anyone does come a knocking. And of course they did. I mean, it netted them 2 opening frags as well as 2 rifles to try and work with.
So double up, all in, put all the chips on the table. They're the small stack. Usually, as we discussed in the last map, I'm the small stack, but that's fine. Spiro. With an angle from top mid, we'll look down to see if anyone's going to walk through. Scream's getting closer to the doorway, but a smoke goes in, thankfully. Scream's not foolish. He's got experience. Finally, they're putting out utility instead of, much like Cash this morning, where they're just running into a site and all looking the same way. They're covering off the angles.
Oh, Scream eats that Deeg shot. Now going to go hunting for the man who fired at me, who just falling on back to the safety of the bomb site. Rollin over in drop. It's going to be tagged low.
Good read. They definitely read that the rotation's going over toward B off that because Scream backs off of mid based on that Deagle shot, and everyone's getting set for the way through. As you mentioned, Roland's gone low, but Happy's gone down, so they still have the advantage in this situation. There's not a lot of money given the reset potential against Envy, so if they can mop this one up, they could pick up a few more, get closer to maybe 6 and 7 rounds. Hyper, 5 HP, will be found, but it's all down to RPK. Mouse holds the line from inside of the site on the statue, and they get to the 6th, but still a long way to go. I'm not going to get my hopes up yet. How are you?
What, I get my hopes up for the comeback? I mean, they're 9 rounds away now from equalizing it out, so they've still got a long road to go down. It's just, you know, actually resetting the economy of Envy now. They are going to be buying up just a little bit on the... oh, no, it looks like they're going to fully invest. They're going to say on the players that can afford, but no, it looks like Scream's going to go all in. No one else is, interestingly. So I guess we're going to see him relegated down a tech in the coming round.
Scream, yeah, Scream's gone all in.
Yeah.
The rest are around 2K. You could... I don't even have to tell you anymore, fans, audience, people of the world, the millions watching around the world. You can see it on the HUD. Hyper's got a good start onto Happy. That's inside a drop. It's a good find with a boost up. Roland lets Hyper back down. They stay inside of the drop room, and RPK does battle off toward long.
And XMS over in mid wants to try and peek on out, but Mihu going to be holding the angle. He has to check this, and he will do, but Mihu wins that duel out. RPK and 6 to all that remain. The tech and the AK very, very isolated from one another. RPK peeking on out over towards platform alone. Mouse is here, and as well as that, he can't see anything. Smoke down, screen white. Just going to go pushing on through. Mouse tunnel visioning on past, but as he walks in the waiting arms of Roland, he will be shut down. Kinguin to find themselves now with the 7th. The bite can't really come in from Envy, who are just going to go ahead and force buy down what they can. Scream one of anything, but everyone else should be able to get armor and pistol up into this round. This will allow Kinguin, though, you'd imagine, to pick up an 8th, providing they don't lose to the Force. Saying that, I mean, you know, stranger things have happened, so can't count this victory for these guys too early on. If they do pick it up, though, 8-15, 7 rounds consecutively. I mean, really, when you put it into perspective and you look at how well Envy did, that's not asking too much. It's still asking a hell of a lot.
Yeah, it's asking a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play into that one just yet. Spiro does start off well. Pistols up. On the top down. BK burning alive as Scream goes back to Spiro. Again, it's gun grabbed. Thankfully, Hyper's close by inside a drop to cut off what was going to be a split onto the A site. They've still got the AWP on Scream. They've got a tall order with no armor on him, but there is on XMS, and I'm wondering... Okay, he's going to give XMS the bomb at least. I guess Scrim's confident that he'll just find the shot before he's fired upon because no aim punch, low HP. You could argue that no aim punch doesn't matter because you have an AWP and you just need the one shot, or that the low HP doesn't matter because you only need the one shot, and if they could get a second gun, give it to Scrim. But 6 and 1, half dozen of the other. Tense times at the bottom of mid as well, as we see Mouse and Juliet. XMS in danger has, I think it's Mihu, yeah, it is. That's on the inside of the wall beside him, watching bottom of middle.
Yeah, and Kinguin just playing this one so incredibly passively. Don't want to give them any leeway on out and Scream. Sneaking up and through stables. It's going to be held.
Sorry about that.
No worries. It's not like this is an impactful round. Yeah. Actually, Scream's allowed to pass on by. As is XMS into the side. The peek now going to come on through from Mouse. That could have been the difference maker, but both of them missing their shots. The peek now coming in from Mihu. Out through mid. Finds the first. Scream over at long in the 1v3. He now knows that Mihu's over towards mid, but in the meantime, Mouse been allowed to cross into the site. He finds the first. This is where things get deadly into the 1v2. Holding the angle, peeking on out. Misses that frag. And Hyper, thankfully, returns us from madness. The only man, apparently, who can combat against these forces, against the ecos of Envy.
I was questioning Mihu there because he did get the kill of cannons. It was smart. He knew the plant went down and acted accordingly. But he was so tense to peek that out, and he gave Scream so much time to get a second shot in. So it works out. They'll go double up. Timeout called from Envy, which is... This is perhaps one situation where you could say, you know, drop your pride, where you're on map point. You don't want to reveal that maybe you are overthinking it or you feel pressured because there's still 8 to 15, right? There's still, you know, essentially half of your score. But I applaud them. I actually think this is good discipline. Slow it down, guys. It can very easily get out of hand. Economy's going to be broken every second round if we aren't at least getting a bomb plant, even with the bonus as it is. So before it ends up on 10 rounds and then 12 rounds and then, oh, we're playing for overtime, let's just slow it down and make sure we think about this early. Because the pressure's still on Kinguin either way. You may look at it and say, ha, we've got them where we want them, but really you don't. You've still got 7 rounds to find.
Yeah, into this one, though. Envy, they're going to be sending some players out to watch mid. RPK left over here at B just to try and make some noise, be that thorn in their side and prevent rotates off the site. Also disallow any aggression to come in from Kinguin. As we do see, it's quite in right now to have players push up through long. Sperra could have missed that shot over at mid. Scream's allowed to pass by for free, and now can actually try to push up through long. You've got me who's still holding the angle. Sperra going to be turning his attention towards mid, and in through the smoke. Spot's happy out just for a second, shuts him down as it's not going to be happy hour down in mid. He will fall. The man advantage taken early on. And
love a good happy hour. Favorite time of the day, usually. Flash in. They know me who's there. They get him. No one at top mid to watch back off instead. Scream on 12 after the exchange. Look at the damage done to Envy. It's Rollin to take down XMS. They continue to try and get ground, but this is going to go at least another round, if not 2. Scream, good timing. They'll bait it in. As RPK took some damage, and Sixer stepped up. He's going to go for the one tap. Can't quite find it.
Yeah, Sixer now 1v2 with the AWP, trying to play it around the site. Going to be rushing on in, and actually is allowed to cross. Can get this bomb down. Because he suspects them to be pushing on up, he's going to go ahead and fake that one out. It's given them a lot of time now to push in towards the site. Try and work this round. There's 2 of them and only 1 of him. Sixer playing it in the corner. His life expectancy about half a second at this point. Hyper shuts him down. Defy's going to come in for Kinguin, and that is a 9th secured. And I was really worried for you then. That was the second time you made a bold striking prediction, one that should surely come true midway through a round, and it looked like for a second
Maybe that's the inception. That's why I'm doing it. I'm trying to jinx it.
Oh, okay. You just want to get out of here, you know?
No, I'm trying to jinx it, saying that the round should be Kinguin's, and then Envy almost wins. Oh yeah, that would be yeah. I was thinking. See now I've confused even myself, which doesn't take much to do. Let's be honest. I'm not the sharpest point on the Maple Leaf, especially not in autumn. They tend to roll inward, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of leaves do.
Yeah.
But Maple is do it in a very Canadian way.
Of course.
Apologizing as they roll is going to be now Kinguin looking to try and, I don't know, I couldn't find the link there. Apologizing as they roll out as well, I don't know. They won't be saying sorry for this performance though, as they are having to come back right now on their CT side. Only 6 rounds between them and the map point of EnVy and EnVyUs to find the first. At the start they could have wanted. Scream going to be going down. Smoking off long. XMS trying to make his way in. Six going to be here to join him. RPK grabbing control of drop, and okay, he grabs it by the throat, shuts it down. Hyper and Rallen both fall as they seize control of drop out from Kinguin. And now they have the flank. Mouse has to rotate in to try and help Ash. Barrow going to fall in this round very, very quickly, looking like it could go the way of EnVy. Mihu up close in mid. Mouse trying to hold off the eventual push in through Connector, and Mihu could make all the difference. He drops the bomb. Sixer going to be playing it up close, has to try and trade this back, or else this round could be stripped away from them. Mihu going to push on through, but no, Sixer shuts it down.
That's overcommitment. It was a decent attempt, but Sixer's got the angle and he over pushes the smoke. Sixer reads it with his face already into the wall, knowing they were going to contest the bomb. And they made it closer than it needed to be, let's be fair, before shutting it out on the T side. So still T side's in question, but they definitely played a slower game for a reason. They knew they had the pressure off. They knew they had it so close to the finish. And that's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. And EnVy's going to win it 2-1.
Yeah, I was going to say, were you finally happy with their performance towards the end there? Do you think that they looked more like themselves, or do you think that Kinguin just kind of fell off? What's your kind of final verdict?
I think Kinguin looked out of their depth in this map. I think that their T side it wasn't like they were making errors, like fundamental errors, as EnVy was. For example, I'm going to reference Cash a lot because it was one of the worst games I've seen them play in a long time. It's one thing if you're making mistakes with an attempt. They weren't even making a good enough attempt. They didn't have a plan. You could tell they were, like I said, reliant on picks, but doing them individually, and then not really executing correctly, and not even trying to get map control in most cases to give themselves the position to execute. So I think that unfortunately for Kinguin, their map pool shows that it's quite shallow, and look, they bow out in last place in this group, which after seeing Ballistic's form, I think is fair play. I think that's probably where they line up, and I think EnVy is still going to be struggling going into the next best of 3, which they will do, and that means we'll bring in the panel, talk to them, and see if they're convinced if EnVy's going to make it out of this group yet.
Yeah, it's a good question, isn't it? What do you think, gents?
I'm not convinced.
Obviously much better. 14-1, but still struggling that second half as well. Like, it's definitely not the team we're used to seeing here. Like we said, going into this series, going into this tournament, we thought they were just going to cruise through this one, no problems whatsoever. The only team we thought was guaranteed to make a place here. I'm not convinced that's going to be guaranteed at this point. Much better in that first half, sure, but Kinguin, they looked piss poor in the first half as well, so it's difficult to really gauge if that's EnVyUs getting better or if Kinguin just shit the bed equally. I don't know.
We're talking like that now, are we?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
To be fair, Thorin, Henry shits the bed all the time.
Yeah, Matt hates it. He's always next to it. So
yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, gents. We will, of course, get more commentary from our final game of the day. Thank you both for now, though, and we will get full thoughts from both of our members on the panel right now. Duncan. It's a little bit better, isn't it, for EnVy?
I mean, certainly positive signs that Happy turned up for a game now. The big problem going into the next one I see is that the one thing that Ballistics was good for the whole tournament so far was good CT sides. They had this really passive style where they didn't show much at all, didn't make information plays. They make you make the play, basically. And EnVyUs on their T sides, even on this map win here, admittedly they didn't need to, but they haven't shown a whole lot of that, actually. Sure. So I feel as though we're going to have to see EnVyUs even better in the next series. Because realistically, it's not just a criticism of EnVyUs. They really could have lost this series 2-0. That overpass game hinged so much on the play of XMS. You had all those post-plant situations. You had that ridiculous, obviously, 5-kill. So you look at the series, and yes, when they did get to this map, heavily favoured for them. Like Henry says, basically, like for the first half of the game. By the end of it, okay, some of the Kinguin guys were on the board. For the first half entirely, basically only Rallen turned up. No one else did at all. So that's almost a perfect scenario for EnVyUs, and then even then they still had a little bit of problems closing out. So I feel like they've done just enough. This is like okay, this is like a C grade, It's okay, it's not the worst, it's not good overall, but as bizarre as it sounds to say this, going against a team that no one really thought had a chance to get out, like Ballistics, I think they're going to actually have a tough test.
I mean, you mentioned C as the kind of mark of what they did in this match, but this is an A+ team.
It should be. At this level especially, obviously. I mean, like actually in this game, it was also, I thought, a positive that we saw some of Scream kind of warming up a little bit. He looked confident when he took people on in duels, because that's what was so bizarre in the first games they played. the idea that someone of the caliber of Scream isn't just able to go where he wants, take the duels he wants, and kind of know, I can dominate these guys. I'm much a better player than them. So I think now they're starting to get some elements of the team activated together. I have to say, though, Kinguin was pretty terrible on TR.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the standout players, RPK, in that particular match. He's our MVP for game number 3, and we take a look at his statistics now. 27 kills, 16 deaths.
That's not bad at all.
8 assists, 5.33 impact rating. Yeah, pretty decent.
Yeah, 27 kills. That's pretty nice, I have to say. So let's have a look then. Opening kills 4, trade kills 4, pretty standard. No clutches though. I'm going to dock him a few points on that.
Okay.
I'd like some clutches in there. I'm not going to lie.
Has got 4 wristbands on though.
Yeah, that's true. And he's got a new beard as well.
What
so
he does is,
nice.
you know, when you go to festivals, Henry, you keep it on to remind you. What he does is when he dates like a hippy dippy chick, for the summer, he collects those as well.
Right.
So
you don't think
he's powered up this summer. He's got 4.
You don't think each of those beads represents a kill in each tournament?
A kill in each tournament? That's a bit morbid, isn't it? No, definitely not. He's a fun-loving guy. That was Fiona. This one's Shaniqua, multicultural country.
Okay. Good stuff. Let's get out of here before we get into trouble. Yes, we will hear from one of the members from EnVy very shortly. Let's just wrap up on...
Won't be RPK, I'll tell you that, though.
No, not now. On Kinguin's performance. Again, hard to really say they've done well here because they're out and they're done and they're bottom of their group, but they've put up a good performance against a poor performing EnVy.
Yeah, it was. There's some positives there, I guess, but the headline is they're still going out pretty much last place in the tournament. Nothing really to write home about. This team needs to be getting better. They're on a real downward kind of pace right now. It's not looking good for them. I'm not sure what the answer is going forward. They had a horrible ESL Pro League. You thought they had used that time since it's been a month since then, right? To think, okay, how can we get better as a team? They look worse, if anything. I'm not really sure. What are they aiming for? What's the next big tournament for them? Where's this team going? Where's the motivation to kind of get back into it? I'm not so sure.
Do they go further down before they bounce back up? Or
it's difficult to say. I don't know.
Okay.
It's really, like, I don't know their schedule, what they're aiming for. I think they're going to be out of Pro League next season as well. So I don't know. For me, it's difficult to tell.
Yeah.
I'm not excited about this team right now.
That's the problem. There's no domain that they're performing particularly well in. They weren't good online.
Yeah.
Fairly poor here. I mean, admittedly, they had the one map on Nuke. That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
That was pretty good performance. No, I think they're very much getting their Jamiroquai on and going deeper underground.
Nice.
90s reference.
I like it. It's a quality 90s reference from Jamiroquai. Yeah, very good. Apparently, we have Happy on the line, so we'll say hello, good afternoon to Happy, who must be a little happier than he was early on today. How are you doing, sir?
Good, and you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, we've summarised this performance as a bit inconsistent. How would you portray what happened in this match for you?
I think we got too comfortable on Nuke, and we thought that they didn't play it, but they did during 1 month, and it really shocked us. And we managed to win Overpass. That was pretty big gamble, and then we knew that Cobble was going to be on our side.
Okay. Well, what were you talking about internally in the team after the Nuke result? Because it was such a big win for Kinguin, so one-sided as well.
To be honest, there was a lot of silence, and we just said that because we know we are inconsistent and we can produce really bad results. So we just said that, okay, now we have really nothing to lose, and it can be the last map of the minor. So we just went along, and it went good.
Yeah. Use some of that experience.
What?
Use some of your experience to get you through?
Not too much.
Okay. So what is the difference between this EnVy and the EnVy we saw in Dallas that looked pretty good?
I think we have a lot of troubles getting into a LAN. We definitely have bad mindset, and it really affects our performance. So, it's like we need more matches to get out and into the game.
Okay, it's probably quite lucky the format that we've got here at the minor probably favours you in that way, doesn't it?
Maybe not.
Helps a little bit.
No, we prefer best of one. But yeah, we messed up, and we are just trying now to play our best game.
Okay, I've got Thorin and Henry G alongside. Henry,
yeah.
What did you want to ask?
I was interested about the Ballistics game earlier. You guys played them on cash, right? Was that like you kind of underestimated them, or that was their best map on paper, really? Like that's what everyone was saying. Did you know cash is their best map, or you just wanted to play that?
No, actually, it's not it's not their best map. But when it came down to the last 2 maps, it was Cobblestone and Cash.
Yeah.
And we knew that they made their best results on Cobble. They beat Kinguin, they beat LDLC, and even if we are pretty strong on Cobble, I think we made a mistake here by trying to go into Cash, because we are still trying to learn it, and it's a process, and we are like at the middle of it. Right now, Cobblestone is pretty good for us, and I think we should have went with that.
Okay.
When we saw the interview you did before the tournament, and you were describing the other top teams, you said, Big, LDLC, Penta, I think, and then the rest, you said some of them are unknowns to you.
Yeah.
Does Kinguin count for that? I mean, I know they were in Pro League, for example, but Kinguin, Ballistics. Did you do much research in these teams? Did you watch demos?
Yeah, we actually did with our coach, and I have pretty good experience against them. I think we, like, for example, the final at the WESG.
Yes.
Yep.
And we also played, like, I
didn't watch it myself, but,
I just remember, like, playing a lot of game against them, and it went pretty good every time. So I was kind of surprised that, they played their Joker map, which was Nuke. And they won it, and they won their gamble, and they really had a chance to just knock us out.
So one thing we've seen from the Ballistics team, because they obviously went on, they almost actually beat Big, is they had this very interesting CT style where they're just super passive, basically. They never push anywhere, they never make an information play, and even Big actually had problems against that. You're going to be playing against them now. Is this something unique to play against? Did it catch you off guard?
Kind of, because I think it disturbed us, because we don't have fucking middle control on Cash. We don't master it right now, but we could see patterns. For example, when we took middle fast, they were kind of reluctant to take it back. So now we know they like to play passive, and I think we can now abuse it.
All right, good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Happy for joining us as well. Good luck in your next game. Sappy from EnVyUs, and a victorious EnVyUs this time round as well. We weren't thinking that might have been the case a couple of hours ago after going 1 down on Nuke so easily, but they fought their way back, and they are into the final match now in Group A. We'll wrap things up at the desk. Henry, what did you make of Happy's responses in that?
Yeah, pretty powerful, of course. I like the way he says, like, oh, we need to kind of like get more fired up and get into the games. Like, he needs to be the one actually making that happen, right? Like, that's the problem I have. I wanted to ask him that. I felt like a bit probing at that point. I didn't want to get into that, but that's what I feel like.
Maybe we get him back and we ask him.
Yeah, I feel like as an in-game leader, like, for me, that was my responsibility in the team. Like, if you look at some of the most famous in-game leaders, like Fallen, and like, this Chad comes to mind as well. Someone who's like trying to fire the team up and get everyone motivated and said, this is it. Like, we're going to lose this game unless you guys start stepping up. He just seems so passive when he's in that middle seat. He doesn't seem like he's bringing much to the table.
Do you think that's a personality thing as well?
Well, I think that's part of being a leader. Like, you're looking to someone to inspire you, right?
But you can get it from your coach, you can get it from another player in the team. It doesn't always have to be the
I think that's the problem, though, is that they don't have anyone. Like
yeah.
You can have teams, certainly, where sometimes someone's the leader, but they're the tactician, and there's, sometimes it's another veteran player. He's the emotional leader, in the team who really conjures up the inspiration in that sense. The problem is, as we kind of laid out earlier on, everyone else is pretty quiet in this team. They're kind of the guys who do their own thing, I don't really know where else it can come from. So I realized they didn't have a lot of choice in who they get into the team in that sense. And it doesn't seem like, in terms of coaching stuff, I'm not even sure what the situation is there actually. If it's a real analyst or something.
Sure that chap there, he's more like the manager / coach. Like, he helps them out as much as he can. I don't think he's a deep analysis sort of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but that's he's been around EnVyUs for a while. He's not like a coach we talk about having lots of experience and that kind of stuff.
See, this is actually where I know usually people meme the idea that the owner's the sixth man and he was there with us, because usually that is a load of nonsense. They're just the guy that's there who stands behind you and pays the bills. But actually, that's where maybe having Hastro would help. Actually, he's a guy where at least he has that experience, comes from the NA Call of Duty scene. You'd expect him to be able to provide a little bit of that. I mean, obviously, I can understand why you don't come in this tournament. You expect to get through it anyway. You probably save that for the qualifier, the major. God forbid they make it there, Henry. But yeah, you're saving it for the higher stakes, probably.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what I learned from that was that there's a new position on Cash. I didn't know there was a fucking mid. It's amazing. Brilliant. Learn something new every day. Right, we are headed to a quick break, and when we come back, we will have our final best of 3 of the day here at the Europe Minor for PGL season. Heading towards Krakow, of course. The long road is becoming shorter and shorter.
Pardon his French.
Coming up next, Ballistics versus